Yes, may I request you to please take your seats. Good evening and a very warm welcome to all of you. It gives me tremendous pleasure to welcome all of you for the launch of SOIL's School of Business Design today on the auspicious occasion of Guru Purnima. And coincidentally, it was exactly 10 years ago on the same day that the parent school, the School of Inspired Leadership, was born and inaugurated. So therefore, it's an extremely auspicious occasion for all of us. We thank each and every one of you for spending your time to join us in this celebration. To start with, we'll have the Diya lighting ceremony, and may I request Shama Didi to please join us on stage. May I also request Vineet Mehra to represent the alumni of SOIL. Please join us. May I request Dr. Nuria, please join us as well. And representing the new student community, may I request Yukti to please join us on stage. And Dr. and Mr. Rajit Mehta to represent SOIL's consortium partners. Anil, can you also please join us on stage?
I say a few times. Om Bhadram Karnebi Shunyavadevaha Bhadram Pakshayakshabhi Yajatraha Stire Ange Sushtuman Sastudumbi Yeshe Madevasham Yadayuhu Swasti na Indro Vidhashavaha Swasti na Pusha Vishwavedaha Swasti na Starakshayo Arishtanevi Swasti no Brihaspati Dadatu Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namah Hari Om.
Chandrajit, may I request you to come on behalf of the whole Indian industry? Light this central piece.
very much. I now call upon Gokul and Rajkumar for the invocation to the Almighty.
ब्रह्मानन्दं परमसुखदं केवलं ज्ञानमूर्तिम् द्वन्द्वातीतं गगनसदृशं तत्त्वमस्यादिलक्ष्यम् एकं नित्यं विमलमचलं सर्वधी साक्षिभूतं भावातीतं त्रिगुणरहितं सद्गुरुं तं नमामि सद्गुरुं तं नमामि अखण्ड
Requesting you to stand up for me. अखण्डमण्डलाकारं व्याप्तं येन चराचरं तत्पदं दर्शितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुदेवो महेश्वरा गुरुदेव परब्रह्मा तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। त्वमेव माता च पिता त्वमेव बन्धुश्च सखा त्वमेव विद्याधरिणं त्वमेव सर्वं मम देवदेवा त्वमेव सर्वं गुरुदेव देवा।
May I now invite our founder, Mr. Anil Sanjay, to formally launch the opening circle and talk about Guru Purnima.
Let's all form a circle in the true smile and let's all hold hands. Come on, soil students. Show the way. A big circle. One big circle. I'm sure the room is large enough to include everybody in the room. And Priya Somaya, get ready to say something or sing something. China, please join the circle. Aarti, please welcome Bridge. Welcome. Join the circle, hold hands. Okay, please hold hands, everybody. So I just feel extremely overwhelmed at this wonderful circle and to be in the midst of each one of you. You represent the whole microcosm of the world that we are trying to serve. So I'm so happy that right from my first days, which being my first job, Tata Motors, Pradeep Kapse, because we were colleagues when I began to take baby steps. So I'm so happy. And then I'm so happy that so many of my friends from the Aisha family are. And there are innumerable number who are present right here, and Aisha is the biggest family that we were part of. And I am so privileged to have so many of you from the Aisha family, Ate Jinsi, A.V. Srinivasan, of course, Pradeep Kamse, Aruna Banerjee. I mean, I can just name so many of my Aisha friends who are there. So nice. And even a colleague's daughter, Kanupriya Sethi, Satish Sekhri's daughter, Krishan Chopra, who became a colleague for many, many years in different avatars. So nice to have so many of the members of the Aisha family. I am so happy that Aisha Consultancy is here. And my association with Dr. Priya Somaya started when I was in ECS. So I'm so happy that you are here. I'm so happy that Grow Talent is here. So we have Anuradha Sharma, we have Nalina Suresh, we have hopefully Meeta Brahman. So many of my colleagues from Grow Talent are here. Rajiv Shanta from ECS is here. And I'm so happy that Soil alumni are here. Of course, my Aisha friend Santosh Pandey is also here with Ratna. So welcome. And then I'm so happy that all industry is here. So we have Maruti Suzuki, we have Schneider Electric, we have, of course, Volvo Eicher, we have so many wonderful colleagues from industry who are here. We have our NGO partners here, we have our mentors here. We have our dear friends in the community and also friend, Manoj Kohli represents 3 avatars. He is from industry, he represents the future industry, renewable energy. We have Chandrajit Banerjee who represents the whole of industry in India. So every voice in this country is here, and I'm hoping soon the local farmer community leader will also come. He is supposed to come. I hope he will be here too. So nice to be in the presence. Manish Sharma is here, my learning partner and colleague with whom from Panasonic. Adarsh is here. So nice, each one of you, the neighbors of our community, China, Bridge, so you are here. And of course, Manoj is also a member. I'm so happy that our alumni are here, and Vineet is just a representative of that. We have teachers, including Amul Ali, who is a very special and loved teacher who's here. So, and all the students are here, and our parents are also here, and our new students are here. So nice that you are all here, and it means the world to us. So thank you for coming and co-creating this space, co-creating this movement, Soil 2.0 with us. Many of you were present on that day 10 years back when we started the first steps, and you have stayed with us. So we can't thank you more for that journey which started in my previous home where Tanu and I and some of us dreamt with our little doggies running around and saying, what is the next thing emerging out of this little place? And wonderful thing that happened. Advisory board is there, Savita is there, Arun Arora is there. So, Harshit, thank you. Most of all our colleagues working in Soil who are dreaming every day. It's been a big challenge to co-create the school. It's been extremely difficult. One morning I get up and I say, I don't know if you are going to last. And next day I look at Gurudev's picture smiling and say, what business do I have to even think of this as a challenge? Swami Chirmananda blessing to remain with us no matter what. And that's what brings us to this space and to this special day of Guru. I think in the next few minutes, this is a time for anybody to speak from the heart, whatever you are moved to share. This is our typical circle. I spoke a little bit longer just to welcome everybody. Now, whoever is moved to share, please share. I will take the mic to that person. The person will share. And when that person is finished speaking, the person will pass on the mic to the others. Who wants to share? Yes. Give your name and share whatever you are moved to share.
Hi, my name is Aditya, and I'm from Marketing Cohort AAP 2020. First of all, utmost respect to all the senior leaders who are here today, and to my faculty members and peers. This seems to be a very wonderful setup for good environment for a school of business design, and I really feel so glad to be standing here and speaking in front of all of you. It's been like great pleasure and a confidence to actually see through the day, and we're gonna have a lot of fun today. We're gonna have a performance, and then of course I'm sure that we're gonna come make this day a really grand one, so that this marks the beginning of School of Business Design. And yeah, that's it. I'm looking forward to it. I'm really excited, and I hope all of you are excited as well. Thank you.
wants to share next? Pradeep Kapse, you are.
Well, it's a very, very great occasion. And as Anil said, way back in 1974-75, when we were together in Tata Motors, and I have seen him growing from those years to what it is today. He was in HR and I was in production, and we used to have very large interaction. And we were trying to change the organization culture in Tata Motors then. And as typical, Anil is one of the most inspired guys. And he took that inspiration. He did a lot of work there. And then he moved to Aisha. When he moved to Aisha, he brought me also. He pulled me in, he said. So there also he created one of the best working cultures, so-called the HR epitome of excellent company work culture. And we are so proud to have so many great people coming from Aisha and joining other companies at the highest of the levels. So I think great job he did. And from there, his leadership was always ahead. And he moved to create Aisha Consulting Services, which was again a new thing, something which was wonderfully created. And then he moved from there to create his Blue Talent. From there he came into soil, and from soil to second soil. So he has been climbing the stairs in building India at a real grassroots level where he can transform the future leaders of this country. I'm so happy and so proud that I am his friend, and I have been seeing him share his thoughts and his vision of what he wants to do in life. It inspired me a lot, and I'm sure it will inspire all of you a lot. So we thank him and pray to the God that he continues to do such wonderful work. Thank you.
Who wants to go next? Yes, Priya. And I hope with all due humility you will sing one line. She is the most amazing singer ever.
From the bottom of my heart, I would like God to shower all His blessings in this place. I would like to extend all my best wishes to each and every one of you who's here, and my heartfelt best wishes to America.
Thank you.
I take the privilege of speaking to all of you. Firstly, my pranam to the Guru in each one of you. And it's such an auspicious day that we are standing in the temple of learning. This is how I see soil. I was there when the first inaugural place. I was an analyst team in Aisha from 82 to 87, so I know him. And I've had a lovely bonding with him, learned a lot. So I just wish it to continue to grow and grow and grow beyond into infinity. And this growth reaches out meaningfully to people. That is very important. It's different from other institutions because it's just not an institution which teaches you a lot. Just read and learn. It helps you experiment with yourself, know your potentials, go much beyond, into deeper into yourself. And that's something inside you, somebody who's inside you that comes out. And then it's like a bond gets broken, and you're free. That freedom, that person is free from various walls. That person emerges and creates. And that's what soil allows you. The soil is the fertile soil which allows you. All the best to all of you.
Thank you.
What really inspired me, the first one to pick up the mic was a soil student. And while you may say that there are a lot of celebrities and stars in this room, I think truly education has taken this issue beyond life in the hands of the students. That's how you all do and how more students get attracted to you all. And also very, very proud to say that you all have a young leader who again was Sahid. He's going to be playing a pivotal role in this institution. We were actually quite young in our careers, and we started off in Blue Talent. I can see that for Anu and Priya and all of us together. From there, every time we see something moving up the ladder, we realize we've grown hopefully wiser, but certainly older. And it's beautiful to see you, young generation, take on the lead from here. Beautiful. All the best, sir.
बहुत बढ़िया, बहुत बढ़िया।
All the best wishes for this wonderful couple, Anil and Meera. And now I want to sing just a simple one line. आपका जो लोगो है सॉइल का, and that plant, उसके लिए मैं कुछ कहना चाहूँगी। दुआ करो के पौधा सदा हरा रहे, दुआ करो के पौधा सदा हरा ही रहे, उदासियों में भी चेहरा खिला खिला ही रहे, दुआ करो के पौधा सदा हरा ही रहे।
Thank you. Welcome, Ashok. Anyone else wants to say anything? Harpreet and Manoj.
No, I'm very thankful to Anil to invite me in this auspicious function. It is very, very auspicious because it's Teachers' Day. It's day when we pay respect to our teacher. First thing in the morning, I pay respect. I have 5-6 teachers who have built me up in the last years. And today is the day of, he's really a true teacher. I know him for 30 years, he's a great guy. And I think the timing of this organization, this educational institution is very important because I can see the zest and enthusiasm in the young leaders here. And next 10 years, let me assure you, will be a golden decade for this country, for this world. There's so many dynamic changes coming and so many technology changes coming, so much happening, which I think all of you will be able to leverage, which we were not able to leverage because in our times it was different. There were different times. So I'm so delighted that God is blessing you with such a great teacher, such a great school, such a great economy and timing, so that you can do very well in it. So, a lot of blessings to all of you.
Thank you.
First of all, I would like to congratulate the entire Soil family. And on this occasion, I would like to pay deep gratitude towards Soil. I'm from the Torchbearers batch, and I think I'm the only one representing the batch here. It's already been 9 years, 8 years I've passed about Soil, and the journey beyond Soil has been beautiful. I pay a lot of gratitude. I can't thank enough to Anil sir and the entire faculty of Soil. Good luck, and the entire alumni is there to make this a big success. Thank you so much.
Ratna.
Sorry, I tried very hard, I couldn't resist. It's great to be here. I go back many decades. 40 years ago, when we got married and came to Delhi, the first friends we met were Anil and me. And that's where our friendship started. Whether it was borrowing books from Anil's library, or checking with him for some advice, or whatever it may have been, I go back to him. And I have another person here whom I have a lot to thank for, and that is Shamaji. Her elder sister was the gynecologist who delivered both my daughters. and she was my daughter's first vegetarian. So from my family's perspective, I owe a lot to her. So I'm really happy to see you. And Soil, I've been there when they started the inauguration, the first puja. And I think a 10-year mark and Soil 2.0 is a great milestone. And from the bottom of my heart, I wish you and Leader all the very best. And Sally is going to be involved in this all the very best. Thank you.
Thank you. I just request Chandrakant represents the whole of Indian industry to say something on behalf of PII.
Thank you, Anil, and just congratulations, what a great journey. Being a part of Soil 1.0 and to see Soil 2.0 come up, and this soil will really give us so much nourishment and plants over times to come. Been knowing Anil for quite many years and turned to him at the Indian industry at CII many a times to him to correct things whenever we felt things were going wrong. And like a true teacher, he came and always sort of did those corrections as if he has been a part of ours, seeing the way he has contributed to the society. Phenomenal, Anil, and I'm sure that we would be able to link up much more from the Indian industry to the phenomenal produce that we will see from your side. So all the very best to each and every family in this soil.
Thank you. Thank you. Now may I request you to please take your seats while we begin with the next part of our program.
Can we? Please take your seats, ladies and gentlemen. We shall start our function with a brief video by the Chinmay Mission titled From a Seeker to the Sought.
Honor of his Guru Parampara, very beautifully Gurudev had told us one wonderful story that in a dark cave, generations of people lived in that cave. They had never seen the outside world. But as one day, some youngsters, having got everything very early in life, wondered out of the sheer what more. So he decides to one day go, but he knows that if he leaves his space behind, somebody else is going to take it up. But he's confident, I've been in back again. Let me go and find out with the one what is there in this cave. Let me find out if there is something else. He makes a long journey, but it leads him nowhere. He decides to come. And when he comes back, everybody goes, told you not to go, told you not to go, told you not to go. He comes back. The same one, the same conversations, can you imagine the politics of a cave? Finally, he decides to, this time totally determined. Either I will find out what lies on the other side, but I am never coming back. So he goes into the cave, and then suddenly he gets a sensation of feeling he has never got before. That inspires him to move forward. He goes forward, he tries to go faster, he falls, he hates himself, but still there is something definitely out there. And as he turns around one corner, suddenly he sees something that he has never ever seen before. A huge mass of light Wonder of wonders, we cannot even imagine. He has got something that nobody else has. Sitting there, he wonders that my people there are suffering, fighting over such small little things when there is this infinitude available. Decides to go back. Tells them he has only expressions of wonder, wonder, wonder. Some useless youngsters with nothing better to do hang around with him, and then he tells them, let's go. And this time they are quite ready, so he said, let's go, but he tells them, now follow me. He knows the way, they don't have to take against the legs, they don't have to fall down. He shows them the way, but after some time when he turns around, nobody is there. Now he's determined, I have to take someone else. Manages to get 2 or 3 people, but this time keeps them in the front. Remember one thing Gurudev taught us at this point. Don't try to pull them. Don't try to lead them. Don't be in front of them. Be behind them and push. And finally takes them to the mouth of the cave. He just pushes them out of the cave, one by one, one by one. And as they open their eyes and see the green hills and the infinite blue sky and all that, and they are jumping, ha, ooh, ha, ooh, ha, ooh. I tell you, that moment of realization, every guru wants to relive through his disciple, and there he stands at the gate, enjoying the wonder that he had when he sees his disciples. Those disciples, of course, very grateful, pressing his feet, telling him, today is Guru Purnima, we are eternally grateful to you. If it was not for you, you did not kick us, you did not push us, you did not send us here. We would have not even dreamed of coming, and we didn't even want to come, you pushed us. How can we be grateful? What can we do for you? Everything is given by you. Guru Purnima, you should give everything that you have. And feel that I gave nothing because I have nothing is fine anyway. But what do we give you as Guru Dakshina? Everything you have only given us. So that's why we give you nothing. He said, no, there is something you can give. No, Guru, anything you tell us, we will give you. He says, go back to the cave. Then why do you bring us out? Go and bring others. Oh, but nobody didn't believe in you. How can they believe in us? He said, at least now they say that what the old one said, these young ones are saying, there might be some hope. And Gurudev said, it is because of that masters keep coming, sent by their masters. Take others. And that is the only Guru Dakshina we can offer truly to our Guru. The one who brought us to this bliss, to bring many to this bliss.
I now invite Anil to talk briefly about the concept behind the School of Business Design.
Mahatma Gandhi, 150 years, will be celebrating on 2nd of October. Swami Chinmayananda, Mother Teresa, Martin Luther King. These people see the world differently from those of us who are lost in our own mental chatter. When a master observes with complete mindfulness, with full presence and awareness, the person listens to voices that we don't hear, observes opportunities to serve the well-being of all that our own mind's discernment is not able to perceive. This observation and listening with complete attention and mindfulness makes us get out of our own comfort zone into the shoes of others. Swami Chinmayananda said, empathy is not about only stepping into somebody else's else's shoes. It is learning to get out of our own shoes first before we can feel the pain of others, experience the joy of others. And when we feel by stepping into other shoes and getting out of our own shoes, we understand the meaning of empathy. Then, from within ourselves, the truth is revealed on what is possible to serve mankind. Creative ideas come. All of us are born creative. A child is 100% creative when the child is young. But between the age group of 5 to 15, we do something to our children that destroys their creativity. We call that upbringing and we call that education. But when we learn to transcend our fears, the creative genie in us, the genius, the genie in us begins to express itself. And out of these creative ideas, when we are not evaluating them, our nature is being creative. New ideas emerge. And when we are willing to not get attached to our ideas, but go and take them back to the people who matter and say, how can we serve you with these ideas? We listen with humility. We learn with society, with what we call consumers, customers, employees. And then out of that willingness to fail and learn with people, we create immense possibilities. And that is how we create new things to serve the well-being of all. And this whole cycle of learning to observe in mindfulness, to finally making co-creating things for the well-being of all is the whole journey of design thinking. This school at one level uses liberal arts to open our minds, the study of anthropology, psychology, sociology, philosophy, to open our minds to what is possible. The whole journey of inspired leadership of soil, the whole social innovation, the compassion, everything embraces within us that whole journey of putting ourselves into other shoes and empathy. The design field makes it so very beautifully creative and come out, and then the management disciplines converts the creative ideas into useful, viable, sustainable solutions. So this school, the journey is about taking the conversation on inspired leadership deeper and further. What we began 10 years back and what we dreamt about is now being taken to the next level in its inquiry. It's a new conversation to say, how can we embrace the highest in us with the power of design to serve the well-being of all? I just want to thank you very much to have come here to be part of the story. And I'm sure many of you are going to co-create this story with us. People like Rajit are sitting there reading from behind. They're literally Manish Sharma, Panasonic CEO sitting there, leading from behind. I think we hope we will co-create this journey together with all of you. So thank you very much for this. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Anil. As you're all aware, SOIL as an institution is built by all our key stakeholders, the family of SOIL as we call it. Our students, their parents, the staff, the faculty, our recruitment partners, and last but not the least, the members of the 32 companies which constitute our industrial consortium, the consortium that had conceptualized SOIL more than 10 years ago and brought it to where it is. They have been a tremendous source of help and inspiration for us, each and every one of these members, from helping us with our curriculum design, revision of the curriculum, their help in the admissions process, and of course, all the encouragement that they give us. A lot of them are also, of course, our recruiters as well. So to represent our consortium, I'm delighted to call upon Mr. Rajat Mehta, who's going to talk about the role of the consortium members and industry stakeholders. Mr. Mehta needs no introduction. He's the MD and CEO of Max Health and has been a great soil for us. So, Mr. Mehta.
Thank you very much. Quite generous. Many congratulations first to Vikas, Sahil, and Vivek. I think it requires a different kind of tenacity, perseverance, and inspiration to create institutions, especially those that go against the grain of what is getting created otherwise. And I've been associated with soil for many years, inspired each time I come here and go back with somebody, whether it was a curricular design workshop or mentoring some students for social innovation projects, I think 3 or 4 things stand out for me, and that's a message to all the students. One is the curricula is really designed with a lot of mindfulness. The focus is entirely on creating holistic, inspired leaders. And if ever there was a time when the industry required inspired leaders, this is the time. Because industry after industry is falling prey to greed. There's a complete breakdown of governance, and absolute disregard of ethics. And I think leaders like you who get creative will have a chance to create enterprises that create impact. So that's the first thing that I, for soil that stands up. Secondly, I think most times, we intellectually conceptualize something, but translation into reality is where the gap is. So rituals such as the morning circle, the invocation, the social innovation projects, to me, these are all symbols of how soil is translating the concept into reality. So please do take advantage, of the entire ethos. Please absorb the culture. And also the faculty, some of the people I've worked with, many years ago as well. The zeal and the passion to create an impact is truly commendable. So I really wish all of you the very best. Any which way the consortium can support you, more than willing, to help you professionally and personally. I think it's been an enthralling journey to watch you grow. So wish you all the best. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Mr. Mehta. I would next like to call upon Mr. Vimal Dayal, again, a great friend of soil and one of the best known names in the Indian telecom industry. He and his organization have done, Industars have done pioneering work in the setting up of the entire infrastructure that runs this wonderfully intricate telecom network that brings us our mobile telephony and a host of other things. So you've been a great friend of soil also, sir. We would like to invite you now to talk about design thinking and why soil has looked at it. Mr. Dayal.
Very much. Thank you, first of all, for inviting me, and very good afternoon. Congratulations, sir, for bringing this infrastructure up so timely. Firstly, at this great occasion, pious occasion, let me pay my gratitude to some of my teachers who are sitting in the room as well. My gurus, Mr. Kohli is sitting here, you are sitting here as well. So thank you very much, sirs, for actually bringing us up as well. So I think this is where I would like to start. Great day to choose as well to have this inauguration. So I think when a moment I got the email from Anil saying Guru Purnima and we are starting this, I think I promptly said I will be there no matter what as well. So my heart certainly lies here. And moving on from there, a big message to the students here. Every morning when I wake up, I think it's almost like a student-like urge to learn throughout the day as well. And by the time I reach my office, I think the urgencies of running a corporate probably take over, and I think my coach goes on the left side, my student goes on the right side, and I'm into probably getting into instructional day-to-day transactions. I think please make the most of the infrastructure or the time and the learning which this institute has been continuously providing as well. I think this is invaluable. I think one has to open your heart and get into and soak into the learnings which will be provided here as well. Few things about design thinking. Few years back, when I was exposed to design thinking and the concepts as well, I think what struck me was that it is the simplicity and the kind of process which it goes through. It delivers something which is phenomenal and is disruptive. I think we need to believe in that as the first principle. From theory to practice, let me share my experience. We have 5-year goals which our company sort of gets into, and when the first 5-year goals ended, we were wanting to set our next 5-year goals. And we got inputs from various consultants saying, this is how we would run your process. So one of the inputs I got was a very watered out, tight, bulletproof principles around, we'll follow this process, we'll give you these apps, we'll give you this, so that the ideas don't slip by as well. The second input which we received was that we will train your leadership team. All the leadership team will go through the concepts of design thinking. We will open the mind up, and then what comes out will be your sort of 5-year goals as well. Guess what we did? We actually went pretty much on the design thinking ways. Anil was the one who actually conducted that workshop for us as well. And where we are right now is something which pretty much we are very, very proud of as well. I think it is important that not only we give ourselves a watertight process, which I will actually touch briefly on as well, but it is important to open our minds as well to possibilities. We as Indus Towers have been trying to industrialize our processes, and our first BHAG was to achieve or get the Deming Prize, and we are probably the only company in India in the service sector to have gotten this.
Very good.
On the other side, if you actually look at TQM principles and continuous improvement, it actually leaves very less room for disruption. And obviously the purists will come and argue the other side as well. But coming on one side, being a Deming Prize company, getting into design thinking, I think this actually calls for a great conflict. But the way we are trying to manage this is more around, we will have our own system of business excellence, do the continuous improvement on one side, and bring in design principles into our business excellence concept. Just a small input which can probably excite. When I first looked at design thinking, I started to talk about disruption, and here is how I look at it. Let's say for 5 years we start to reduce our let's say OPEX, and what if there was a possibility to reduce 25% in the first year itself? We would have missed a very simple chance to cause a very big change as well. And this is the excitement which all the students can probably take and say, yes, through simple principles, we can cause and create a very big business opportunity. And that is where this school will lead the industry to. I am pretty sure that we will be associated. We will do exceptional things together. And obviously, I think it's very timely, and gratitude. Thank you very much for inviting, and have a great one. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Dayal. Now gives me great pleasure to invite our chief guest, Shama Didi. She actually needs no introduction, but for the benefit of those who may not be completely acquainted, I'll just read out a little bit. So Dr. Shama Maitre, she heads the Chinmay Organization for Rural Development Board, as it's called. It's a wonderful organization which does excellent work in sustainable development in our rural communities countrywide, and she has a special focus in the Kangla Valley in Himachal, which all of our students also incidentally get to be a part of once a year. And it's a matter of great privilege that you are here with us, ma'am. We would like to welcome you to the stage, and please share your thoughts.
Sorry,
Vivekananda taught us that the reward for service is more service. And Samadhi makes it possible for all of us every year. We spend, I think the students and staff will agree, the most inspiring week every year of our life with Shama Didi and our villages in Sirpali. So Shama Didi, please come.
First of all, let me say I'm very, very humbled to be here. I'm so humbled. I'm so full of gratitude. And my heart fills with joy to be here on this very, very important day, Guru Purnima. Because we start our life's journey with our parents being our first guru. Then our school teachers, college teachers, and now for you, soil teachers here. Then we have Dharma gurus who teach us the right moral ethics. And then we have Upasana gurus who tell us about how to purify our minds and how to increase the subtlety and sublimity in ourselves through japa, meditation, puja. But finally, we have the Sadguru who takes us out on the trip. Okay. The Sadguru who tells you the largest thing you ever would hear, that Tvamasi. That you are there, you are limitless, you are infinite. So when anyone has to give something, when someone limitless is asked to give, imagine what you can give. And the joy of giving is peacefulness. And all the negative tendencies in us, they just drag. You know, the past beliefs, the past tense that we think of, in the present tense delusions, and fear in future. It's not there. And I have great hope because in the manifested world, I talk about manifest and beyond, but I want to just step into you all who are limitless to tell you that when I stand in the field of development, I would like you to take a few messages because you are the School of Design, Business Design. Should we be development around people or people around development? This is the design question that I have for you all. Because design is about all patterns, what are emerging, what is happening to the whole world. And sometimes I wonder, कि हम इतने मूर्ख कैसे हो सकते? Why are we not looking into climate crisis? I don't say any more climate change. I'm talking from the grassroots, and I can see it so much hitting us on the face. Depletion of natural resources completely. Then the nuclear threats that we have, corruption, you name it. But I think we all need to understand one thing, that we all live in one small globe. We breathe the same air, we have the same biosphere. At the limit of the biosphere, we all have grandchildren. What is the planet going to be like? Is the development only defined by GDP? You have to start thinking there's no much more time, it's urgent, very urgent. So, is development about what Anil said earlier, about the well-being of the people on this planet and the well-being of the environment. Because when we work from the bottom of the pyramid, I think the challenge is now to stop thinking there's going to be a trickle-down effect. From the triangle, a trickle-down effect. Even if I just look at India, 1% of India has 53% of India's wealth. 10% of India has 73% of India's wealth. So when I look at that pattern of trickle down, it will never happen. It has to be a bottom-up approach. And the second way of development is the ring pattern. From the center of the city into the periphery, push everyone. Center city, big city like metro city like Delhi, push, 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 push everyone out. And I'll tell you even your garbage. You have to find end-to-end solution. You can't have your garbage into the periphery of the city. You know, the more periphery you go, the whole pattern, something is very wrong. I don't have the answers. I don't have the real answer, but I do have some simple answers. Through my experience at the bottom, at the grassroots, that if I think there are 100 million poor people, I can change my thinking to saying, by empowering those 100 million people, really empowering them holistically, into saying, I have 100 million helpers. You have seen it through the self-help group movement, but I'm just trying to say that there has to be some change. You cannot be thinking of the way agriculture is, the way it is still being looked down upon. You won't have real good food on your plate. We are thinking of zero budget farming now. There's been a very great gentleman called Subhash Palekar. We're trying to learn from him. But I think one has to start looking at what is even the job scenario in our country. See, 11.5 million jobs is given by the government. 70.3 million, I think, is by the private sector. 158 million jobs by the unorganized sector. And if you look at the pattern, and you look at the pattern of growth that is occurring all over the world, this 158 million, their pattern of business is family business against individual businesses. Their businesses are relationship businesses, based on relationship and saving. The others is target driven. So I think there's a lot of rethinking, a lot of reflection that everyone needs to do. And India is so diverse and so beautiful. Can't we think of just, I think smart cities is sometimes, some things are going very wrong in some places. So you start having to think of smart villages. You have a great population of India living in the villages. I can tell you that there is much more professionalism required there at the grassroots. Much more design thinking required there. And a lot more thinking needs to be going into it, not by saying that I know, never. Go to the people, talk to them, learn from them, see what their insights and wisdom, invoke their insights and wisdom. Actually invoke it. And from those wisdoms, synergize your thoughts from there onwards. And you see certain patterns that need to come up. And so with this, I was thinking, School of Business Design, and I know Anilji from many, many years now. He's been a type of my mentor too. When I went through crisis, he's always there. He's my younger brother, but sometimes a wiser brother. And I met all of you. I mean, today I'm so happy to be in the midst of you. I can see Star Wars sitting here. I'm the little one. But I have great hope. Because I know SOIL or SOIL's Business School of Design is not for itself. I know they are meant for greater things to do. And there is a lot more that needs to be learned because you have to have actual facts. So even if we work for a little thing, we have to really have actual facts by surveying, knowing what the issue is, finding the solution in the problem itself. Okay? And doing a lot of really the type of a grassroots type of a research. So you will all have to join us in that real endeavor that every one of us should lead. And I have great hope in India. India has to rise up again by correcting its own narrative first. We need to be very proud of ourselves, proud of the fact that the selfless, the courageous people are so free themselves, their minds are so pure that the answers will come to them. Some of us follow certain disciplines. Like if I'm a pediatrician, in my old days in the hospital, the more we studied, the more we worked hard on a subject. We worked very hard. Then suddenly sometimes our clinical acumen started coming without knowing what it really is, and we could bet on it, it is this. And then someone asked you, where did you get this answer from? It came to me. And unfortunately, if you lost a person, perhaps you would feel it. So, any discipline, if we are true to it, we work very hard towards it. The School of Business Design, I pray to you, please start thinking for answers that are not only Indian, but think of global answers. Because when I sit with certain people, I say, okay, let's define development. We are lost with this very small definition. You have to add on many more factors to defining development. The environmental factors, the ecological factors, the social factors, the family. You have to add, you cannot just say consumption, investment, finance, infrastructure development, and your export and import minus is equal to GDP. Really, I'm shocked by all this. That how can we be doing this? The land of wise wishes. That you are really free. Freedom is not about freedom of speech, freedom of space, freedom of that. Freedom is from everything. Ware wah, kya blissfulness hai. So to this blissful path, all of you in School of Business Design. I pray for Gurudev's blessings to you all. You all are stalwarts. Find the solution to the problem. And
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Shamalini. You are a true inspiration for our entire Soil family, and may that continue to grow further. I next call upon Sahil to talk about the School of Business Design, the progress with the campus, and the way ahead. So, welcome, Sahil.
I just want to acknowledge my mentor and guru and teacher and friend for all of us, Subodh Bhargav, who is here. He was the former chairman of Aisha, members of boards of various companies, chairman of Tata Communication, and a really wonderful human being and role model for all of us. Thank you, Subodh.
Very good evening to everyone. Thank you for blessing us on this very auspicious day today. Indeed privileged to have all of you sharing this moment with us at the School of Business Design. I would like to take you through a journey that started 2 years back. A journey that started with a little seed that we planted and a little thought on what are we going to do at this new campus. This journey has been extremely exciting over the last 2 years. What we created over here has been an extremely bold step for all of us. We dreamt big, and today we've actually been able to deliver that. If you asked us 2 years back whether this was going to be possible, I would have myself not believed it, but I would like to take you all through a short video on what have we achieved here in terms of the building and the tangible spaces and the learning opportunities that you see have been created. About 18 months. We have some of our partners in this room, right from ANA, our Tripolite is also here. They're key partners in the civil and electrical work who really helped us over the last 18 months. They're also devotees of Chinmaya Mission, so we're blessed to have them associate with us on this key journey for the last 18 months. What we created today is about 80,000 square feet of space. We have opportunities to create 3 times more space in this premises over the next few years. And with your wishes and blessing, hopefully you're going to achieve that as well. Today what you see is the eastern block, and some of you have taken the tour. The east block is already up. Over there, we have opportunities to create learning spaces for 500 people to come and experience this current campus. Going forward, we have the West Block, which we can accommodate another 500 students, and the North Block, which will come in the third phase. The way we envision this campus, the ground floor, the floor that we are on, is going to be the student celebration space. The first and second floor are the student learning spaces, and all our classrooms are going to be there. In its full avatar, you're going to have more than 30 classrooms in different formats at in this premises. We want to be known here as a center for design thinking. We want to create spaces around innovation. Anything to do with design thinking is where the School of Business Design will be known for in the next few years. We would be open to partnerships, collaborations, any opportunities that we find are possible, both in the executive education and the full-time program space. We are so happy to be welcoming our full-time students here who will be starting their journey in less than 2 weeks from today. A lot of them have been very bold in making their decision to join us on this very courageous journey that we are also imparting on. I think the next 2 years are going to be extremely exciting, and I wish all of you in this room to bless us to take this to its conclusion. So thank you very much.
Yeah, I wanted to acknowledge Anuji, and I wanted to acknowledge you for your wonderful work that you did. I also want to acknowledge Amita ji and Nikolai. Mrs. Matthews, to your PMC company, the three of you were our pillars. And I know there are times when the heat of the project, there are differences of opinion. Because of our lack of experience, sometimes we make mistakes. So I beg your forgiveness for those things. But I also thank you profusely from the bottom of my heart for your contribution to this work. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks, Sahil. Next, we have a performance, the improv performance by our theatre group, which is led by Amrita Lalji, and there's a group of students who will be putting up a performance. Just wanted to spend half a minute talking about theatre and its importance in the soil culture and framework. Theatre doesn't just create an opportunity for our students to have time off from their studies. It is a very integral part of what we do at SOIL. And we've seen some amazing stories of transformation, how our students have transformed into confident individuals thanks to theatre. Amrita has, of course, done a fantastic job over the years in this area, and we are delighted to welcome her and her troupe, if I may call it that, to perform. They'll need a couple of minutes to set up, so please remain seated while they do that.
सामने रख लीजिए ताकि I'll say something.
Yes, From where? Everything sound is वो बात नहीं है साउंड स्काइप पे आ रहा है स्काइप पे आ रहा है
Kindly bear with us for a minute because
स्काइप पे आ रहा है साउंड
small technological
जूम कॉल
problems.
पे साउंड आ रहा है
मैडम कनेक्टेड है ना अमेरिका से.
It's quite a dramatic start actually. Not what we expected, but yes, that is how we're supposed to go. That's oh yes.
So that must be the man standard from America is on the call. So maybe so that's what is happening.
Yes. नहीं
It's wonderful to see everyone's attention here throughout. So I hope they are Oscar-winning actors. Now you'll see their performance now. So
I will tell that. Yeah, and could you kindly mute your phone?
Hello.
Yeah, and could you kindly mute your phone?
Hello. Yeah. I can hear you. I can hear you, and I can see. I have a picture of a young man who was trying to get.
Done. So यहाँ पे मैं क्या?
it's done. Okay. Sorry for the delay once again. Yes. So I learn, so I lead, so I live. Soil was formed in the year 2009. Before I get into what soil is about, what are we supposed to talk about soil, I just want to talk about the location first. Soil is located around 1.2 kilometers away from Gujarat City Center. It's opposite HSBC Bank. At the same time, we have a Jitubai waiting there, giving us Maggie and chai whenever, and I don't know what.
Excuse me. I'm talking about Stop. On time. Hello.
सन्नाटे को चीरती हुई सनसनी गौर से देखिए इस मासूम लड़के को। ये मासूम इसलिए है क्योंकि इसे ये पता ही नहीं कि सॉइल होता क्या है। असली सॉइल क्या है ये हम आपको बताते हैं।
So I came to soil from
Hyderabad,
Chennai, Delhi, Kolkata, Meerut,
Hapur,
Guwahati, Mangalore,
Pune,
Noida, Bhopal. I had hopes, aspirations,
desires, not to mention fears,
anxiety,
worries,
थोड़ी सी insecurities, थोड़ी सी,
but mainly
I had dreams.
सारी दुनिया भर में छाओ बस इतना सा ख्वाब है बस इतना सा ख्वाब है
Inspire Leadership here in Gurgaon. So my first day here at SOIL showed me a little of why this place is inspired. Indeed.
Hi.
Hi, Aman. Excuse me, can we know the way to the first year classroom?
Excuse me, where do we have to assemble?
Chalo guys, morning circle.
Morning circle.
ये बहुत बढ़िया है, हमारे यहाँ सफाई करते हैं।
वाओ यार, यहाँ ऐसा भी होता है।
This is what inclusiveness is.
Seriously, this shows the true meaning of belonging.
Good morning, sparklers. Welcome to the School of Inspired Leadership, which is all about the future leaders. Before I start with any further conversation, would anybody would like to share something about their past experience? Yes?
Thank you, sir.
Before you start, please share your name and your cohort.
Hi all, my name is Pulkit and I am from BNP Analytics. I would like to share my views about SOIL. I just love the diverse and inclusive culture of SOIL. Here you will find students from all across the country, so peer learning is going to be great for sure. The dynamic and lively environment of SOIL makes me feel enthusiastic all the time. Thank you.
So as you saw, we start our day by forming a giant circle, then we hold our hands and we share our thoughts and we pass on the energy from one to one. Sounds like kindergarten, doesn't it? But this is how we always begin our day. And most importantly, there's something else more than this that adds value to SOIL. Please watch.
तो बच्चों, आज हम क्या पढ़ेंगे? Don't fight. आज हम क्या पढ़ेंगे? और से
अनार।
सब बोलो। अनार। और से
So guys, you want to do some fieldwork today?
Yes.
Okay, come, let's do some plantation.
Oh wow.
Take the working numbers.
Okay.
And
Did you buy it?
no, we make it.
Okay.
Purely natural.
Okay. Now what do we have to do?
Plant it.
Okay.
Add some water.
Yes. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Ah. Very good. Today we will do Surya Namaskar. Okay, everybody focus. Take a deep inhale. Exhale, prayer position. Exhale, prayer position, Shubhamini. Very good. Now stretch. Bend. Bend. Bend.
Ma'am,
Very good. Very good. Very good, Aman. You are doing it.
Ma'am, कमर टूट जाएगी।
Take your right foot back.
Ma'am, तो चलूंगा कैसे?
Where is the right foot, Aman? This is not your right foot. Very good. Okay. Now push-up position. Amini Cobra.
कौन सा
Mini
cobra?
Very good. Shibhangi, what are you doing? Amini Cobra.
सू वाली फीलिंग आ रही है यार।
Now inverted V.
कौन सा भी?
Inverted V. Follow others. Inverted V. Very good. Very good. Okay. Now take your right foot forward. Very good. Shibhangi, do your positions.
It's hurting.
Now,
दर्द हो रहा है।
stand back. Very good. Stretch. Exhale. Wonderful.
So, apart from the SIT program and the yoga classes, which actually tests Suzy ma'am's patience, and for those who don't know Suzy ma'am, she is our yoga instructor and the best human being that we've ever met in our lives. So, apart from all this, SOIL also stands for 5 pillars, something which I was trying to explain initially, but then before they kick me out, I want to just say that we put together a small visual representation of these 5 pillars. And this is done by means of something unique that is completely different in soil, the theatre program. Soil stands for diversity. It also stands for ethics. All this is followed by mindfulness. Soil also stands for sustainability. And last but not the least, we all are compassionate. This is a short description of how the 5 pillars form the base of our institution. But shall we all play a little game? How many are in for it? I don't hear anyone speaking.
Sure.
You know, okay, let's give a challenge to these Oscar-winning actors. That's what they call themselves. So let's take 2 chances here. Any location you guys can put forward, and they'll enact the same thing right in front of you on the spot. Everybody ready?
Yeah. Great.
Who wants to go first? Any location you can think of.
Come on, Ratna, name a location.
A soil classroom.
Okay, we'll take soil classroom first.
Oh, sorry, sorry.
The task first is soil classroom. Proven that they're outstanding at this.
She said Manasa.
Oh, you can be specific as well. Okay, we'll come back to you if you want. Take some time.
Your canteen.
Canteen. Canteen. One by one. We'll just take 2 more for the 9 students. Anybody else?
Soil in Manesar. The night before enter.
Night before enter.
You all have right before enter. Even the mic felt good for doing that. One last thing that you would like to share, you would ask us to do.
Placement time.
They don't know yet.
Okay, the last for the day, placement time. This was a very small act that we wanted to showcase to all of you. I'm very glad and I hope you all liked it. Thanks to our faculty, Amrita ma'am, and the people who also helped us. It was a great honor to share this stage with all of you all, and I hope the very best for the Business Design campus. This is like our own campus now. So thank you. Thanks a lot. Thank you.
Thank you, Sparkler, and thank you, Amrita, for a wonderful performance as ever. Thanks. We next have an address by Ann Stadler, who's been a very close associate of Soil, and I'll let Anil introduce her.
I first met Ann Stadler in 1989 at a conference in Goa, and we became lifelong friends. Ann Stadler is the first woman in the world who created the first telecast across the then Iron Curtain between North America and Soviet Russia. She also produced a documentary on India, which was one of the most celebrated documentaries ever, for which she won an Emmy Award. She is the only person I know who won 3 Emmy Awards. But that's not why we are honoring Ann today, because she has been a mentor, a close friend, and a leader who has created abundance wherever she has gone. She has been part of every single thing that I have done in my life since 1989. The creation of ECS, she was there. The transition of ECS, she was there. The creation of Grow Talent, she was there. The transition of Grow Talent to Soil, she was there. And she's been an amazing friend, fellow traveler. And when I went to meet her a few months back, and she came to the airport to pick me up at the age of 86, where she, of course, came to the airport to receive me. And of course, she knows Shamati and so many people here. It is just remarkable what a person she is. And she is truly a person that we call connected to radiant learning. So I have great joy in introducing Ann Stadler to all of you, and I invoke her blessings and encourage her to share a few words with all of you. Darling Ann, lots of love and hugs to you, and thank you for being here with us. And do share what you are moved to share. Your phone is muted perhaps, we can't hear you. Okay, we cannot hear you. You may have to unmute it. We still can't hear you. So I hope everything is okay at our technology side. I'm also calling you on the mobile just in case. So you can speak on the mobile and we can see you on the video at the same time. I'm calling you on the mobile as well. Yeah, and we can't hear you on the video, but maybe you can speak on the cell phone. please go ahead, Dan. Yeah, we can see you in the computer but can't hear through your computer. Okay, all right. Okay, I think you, continue to speak and through the cell phone. I think this is fine. Yeah. Yeah, please go ahead. Well, we can't hear you very clearly, so this is not working that well. And okay. Well, I just want to say that it may take her a minute to come back, but I just want to acknowledge just seeing her on the video and just hearing even a few words from her. We just wanted to honor the wonderful woman she is. And I want to honor the spirit in the way she organizes. She is the best community organizer I know. And she has done many conferences, including the Journey for Soil, started like that. Yes, Anne. Yeah. Yeah, this is better. Yeah. Yeah, but please go ahead and share whatever you are moved to share for a minute or two. Yeah, we can completely see you.
Okay. This is what I'm sharing. I'm looking to see this. This is a world candle. And the candle is lit. And it's a candle that I use with the nail sunshade. I'm sure you're not getting this down.
No, we are getting you fine now. We are getting you absolutely fine now. We are getting you fine.
Good. So I like this world candle because it is a symbol of the 30 years of work of design thinking, entrepreneurial activity, and innovation that are really such big, and all of your compatriots, all the businesses that have supported and worked with Anil over these years, Anil and his people, are bringing into the world. Anil's mission when I met him in 1989 was to bring the wisdom of India to bear on solving the wicked problems that India's evolution presented and the world's evolution presented. Prototyping as he went the models that worked. I was so struck by the fact that soil, the last 10 years of the work that I've been associated with Anil, that soil has created the whole system of education that is crucial to have the flowering of the wisdom and the inspiration that is necessary for us to change and be the change that we seek in the world. Soil's commitment to the 5 pillars of inspired leadership, compassion, mindfulness, diversity, ethics, and sustainability are the heart of the well-being that solutions to our very great problems will offer. And you have created in this new iteration of Soil 2.0, both the problem and the solution. The whole system is in the room. Students come from 4 sectors: business, government, community, and non-NGOs. They're a microcosm of the system you intend to influence. At Soil, they identify the problems, use art and play and all of the capacities of human intelligence and spirit and inspiration to and apply the leadership principles and competencies of inspired leadership to design and prototype people-based solutions. When they return to their communities, they're able to provide inspired leadership and to engender that in their own environments to build the capacity for conscious social, economic, political, and environmental well-being. I am greatly honored to be part of this community through the through the agency actually of design thinking, because that, after all, was zoomed in as a solution, technological solution. So how do you bring people at a distance right into the room with you? I'm greatly honored to be part of this inauguration. And I really look forward to the flowering of Soil, of the students, and the impact that you all have on the planet that we share, and all the worlds that you touch. And I wish you Godspeed, the speed of love. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, and thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much, and thank you. Lots of love.
Thanks very much. Before we proceed outside for the diya lighting by all of you, can we please rise for our national anthem?
Jana Mana Adhinayak Jaya He Bharat Bhagya Vidhata Punjab Sindh Gujarat Maratha Dravid Utkal Banga Vindhya Himachal Yamuna Ganga Uchchal Jaladhi Taranga तब शुभ नामे जागे तब शुभ आशीष मांगे
जनगणमंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय
That's one that.
Yes. Before you proceed outside, for each of our guests on the tables that you are seated on, there are some diyas. So please pick up one diya each and please carry them with you outside, and we will be lighting them around the rangolis that have been set up. So please carry one diya with you.